I would be among the first to admit that we made mistakes in government. I will be among the first to admit that there was corruption within previous Antigua Labour Party administrations. But I have to admit that the corruption that exists today under the UPP regime makes corruption under the previous ALP administration child's play, my dear people.
I mean, this thing is explosive.
There will be no job losses under the Labour Party administration.
There may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance,
I now turn to the water shortage that has plagued this country for some time. And I say to you tonight that leadership matters. I say to you tonight that the water shortage that our people have been experiencing is an issue that belongs to a different age. And I say too that we have made positive steps in order to resolve the water problem. And I guarantee you that within 14 days, there will be increased water supply in this country.
Let's face the music and dance.
A cornerstone of our general election campaign was the provision of affordable housing. Indeed, we promised 500 homes in 500 days. And we said to you that you would have gotten 500 homes in 500 days. Those with little or no vision said that it could not be done. Well, as your Prime Minister, I say to you that it can be done and that it shall be done.
Let's face the music and dance. Let's face the music and dance.
I mean, this thing is explosive.
This is True Labor Talks with your host, the executive of the Antigua Barbuda True Labor Party.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's another week in politics in Antigua and Barbuda, and things are heating up right now because, as you may know, we are having a general election. Just heard that last night on the radio. That is going to be the 21st of March, 2018. Now we're here. We're going to go through some of the promises and the failures of this present administration in Antigua and Barbuda. Lionel Nedwell is my co-host, and you say hello, Nedwell.
Yes, good afternoon to the general public. Good to be here with you again today. There's so many things to talk about today, I don't even know where to start. But what I do know, that somebody explained Antigua people for fools. And, I don't think that you're no fool, but you still insist on calling him the world boss. And if the world boss is calling you a fool, what can I say? But I might be the boss of the universe, because I still say you're no fools. And I still say you will know what to do on election day, and in order to benefit you and your children down the road. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we don't even have much time to be chatting like this, so we just get into it one time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We usually start by talking about the campaign in St. John's Rural South. And one of the things that struck me on the campaign this week was in Top Otters, on a road called Fine Street. There is a structure there that was put down. Well, a man by the name Armstrong, he's deceased for several years now, and he left a parcel of land on Fine Street for the people of the constituency, in particular Otters Newtown. His intention was to have a library built there and a place where the people can come and congregate and something positive for the people in the area. Unfortunately, what we saw when we went there to the site, and we've heard about it several times by other persons saying, what about the land that Armstrong left for us? Upon seeing where the site was, there is a wall around an unfinished structure put there by Winston Williams. You put a wall around an unfinished building, it's painted green and yellow, and there's nothing there for the people. The situation, from what we understand by the people living next to it, is that they had a little shack there at one point in time. Then Winston Williams broke it down and told them he was going to fulfill the dreams and desires of Mr. Armstrong. Anyway, what they have there, I mean, it's just a small piece of land. It's about by 10 by 15 or so, I would say, feet.
About that, yeah.
You know, and it's somewhere to me that didn't even need a wall because it's so small. I don't even know about wall around it. Maybe a little wire mesh wall at best. But there's a solid, sturdy wall in the front of this building where you haven't finished the building, but you're able to erect a wall. Somebody got paid for erecting a wall in front of an unfinished building. I don't know how they expect you to finish the building. How can the building be finished when there's a wall in the front? So that is what is going on in St. John's Rural South in Top Otters. And the situation is, we have to bear in mind that was a project that was started under the United Progressive Party. In addition to that, the Labour Party came into office, the DNA formed, and people from the DNA were in the UPP when these policies and programs were moving forward. And now you hear them saying about, what's the word, prosperity for all. I'm asking the candidate for the DNA in Rural South to go up to Fine Street, Top Otters, on the western side. And when you see what has been put down by the UPP, ask your leader, Joanne Messiah, what part she played in this mess. Did she confront Winston Williams? Did she speak out against it? Because this is you're playing with people's lives when you do stupidness like this. Yes, some of them spoke out about the CIP program, but there are a lot of other problems under the UPP administration that everybody went quiet, and it was all about it's my party and collective responsibility. Joanne Messiah and all the leadership of the DNA who are part of the UPP are to blame in some portion for what has happened in St. John's Rural South. Neda, what you have to say to that?
Well, I'm not surprised at all. I'm absolutely not surprised. These people, they don't care about their constituents. They don't care about the people. You understand? It's all about themselves. You see it with the community center that they said they were going to build for the people up there. They said they fence in the ball field because it's going to protect the people and all that. They did put up the fence. A fence with no gate, and then left an unfinished community center. So when I saw that building for Armstrong, it's another unfinished structure that I know, because it's not about the people there that you want to finish something that the people can benefit from. They don't care about that. They just want to let it look like they're doing something. Just like this election, you're going to see a lot of sugar cake in the road and all these nonsense, and they come. I see something where the candidate up in this area here is saying that you know, you can call and get a meeting. After 5 years, you can call and get a meeting with him. Before that, he didn't even want to see you. So, you know, I'm not surprised that these things are happening. And then, you know, the people now we have to draw attention to the people as to what it was, what they were promised. There were so many promises that are unfulfilled. And to me, this is why that you're rushing to have an election when you still have another year and I guess about 4 months on their belt. You know, I don't see what's the rush, But then you have nothing to gloat about. You know going further down the road is deeper in the hole you're going to get because you have no intentions and you know that you're not capable of doing certain things that you had promised. So rather than the people saying that is the whole spectrum of what you have promised then come into being, you say, all right, this little bit maybe they can stomach this. And this is why I started by saying you're playing Antigua people for fools, because they're doing this time and time again and they just can bet. They can put down all their money, they can raise you and say, look, Antigua people are going to go down the way that some people will call low life. And no, Antigua people are better than that. I know them. I've seen Antigua people from 1968 doing things that, they stand up against things and they go out on the street and say in a different manner than we are doing right now. Now we are really wondering what's happening. But I've seen Antigua people in their glory, my friend, and I know what this leader is trying to make of them. They are not that. It's far from being that. But I'm not really surprised here because these guys, they're taking everything for granted, even the people for granted. And I'm going to put my money on that the people are not like that. That they're now coming out of their slumber and the unsober state. And I figure that they will do that right thing to benefit themselves. Now we're talking about building. We're a very small party, yes, because we are relatively new as well. We went through one election and we are small. But I know we are building. And we're asking you, the people, to build with us. Because if you build with us, you'll be building for your benefit. You jump into the ring with these guys that claim they already built and they're going to rebuild. They're only rebuilding for themselves. They're not building for the people. So it's best you come along and you will build something with people who are building. And we take this thing step by step. And when we get there, you will be there as well. Benefiting from whatsoever we have rebuilt. So please, ladies and gentlemen, look, as I said, I'm not surprised, but you have to make that change.
So well said, Nedwell. There are a lot of promises that have been made in St. John's Rural South. It is a constituency that is plagued by crime. It's a constituency that had individuals from the area gone down just a year and a half ago because of criminal acts. It's a constituency that they have promised that they would have made it a safer area. The former candidate or the MP, sitting MP at this point in time, Eustace Legally made a lot of promises in the past about how he was fighting crime and how he was patrolling the area to make it safe. And that is what we want to hold them to. What did it amount to? How safe are the people in this constituency? We don't see it, so we don't know what he is talking about. And that is what we want to keep in the people's mind when they go out there on election day. We want them to realize that what you were promised and what you actually got in reality. That is the heartbreak. That is the heartbreak.
Sure is.
This is Eustace Tika Lake in the last election, 2014, saying what he and Labour Party did for St. John's Rural South.
In 2009, I assumed being the representative of this constituency based on the people of St. John's Rural South electing me. Immediately, the first thing I did was went out and start looking for the criminals. I did that because it was necessary for my people to walk in peace and to live in peace.
All right, so Eustace Tika Lake, the crime fighter, went out and looked for the criminals. We don't know if he found any, but I know Rural South has problems with crime. There are areas where, especially down in the extension, it's like a lawlessness going on down there. There's not enough police patrolling. I actually believe that Golden Grove Extension, the whole part, even the part which extends over to Rural West, they need a sub-police station down there. And that is one of the things that I would push for as your representative. Because when you think of, it's just Grace Farm Police Station that serves all the way going back west, going south, and then you bump into Boland's sub-police station, really. Even though I'm hearing that Boland's police station is even shut down. They found the building wasn't up to standard. It can be habitable. So that's actually closed. So you have to go south to Old Road police station. So you understand? It's nearly a whole vast area that Grace Farm is supposed to be covering. And it can't be done. They need a sub-police station. Because you see on the western side of the island, the demographics is that the western side, St. John's, has the most people. And there are not enough police stations on that side of the island.
That's true.
It's not enough people. There's not enough police stations. There's not enough law enforcement being carried out in this part where there's so much demographics of people.
That's so true.
I'm going to play you another clip now. This one is Cutie Benjamin. He is the Minister of Labor and Justice, and he's over the police. And this is what he said in 2014, a month or two after getting into office. It's amazing that all they had to do is get into office and then crime was going to be solved. So this is what my dear friend Cutie has to say.
I'm very pleased to report, Dave, that over the past 7 months, crime has decreased by 75%. 75%. I believe that the Commissioner of Police will be able to, he has done a pie chart. We speak every day. We speak every day, and he has given me that assurance. I've seen the pie chart myself.
Well,
Hey, man, this is so sickening. Started from
what kind of pie that was?
I don't even know,
pie?
man. That certainly wasn't,
Potato
man.
pie?
Hey, man. But man, this is so crazy. Even from Tico. Tico said he went out looking for the criminals. The time would have served better, as you said, just put a substation in an area where it's really needed.
It is needed.
That's all it is.
There's a lot of lawlessness in that extension, man.
The crime escalates because, one, when you call these guys, they're so overburdened that they can't get to you until an hour or two down the road, and all these things. So the criminal know they have time to escape and all that. If you have a sub-police station in every constituency there, it will serve the general public better. Now, what's really happening, and it comes back down to representation. The no representation that people are getting. You see, they're not putting themselves in people's place. They have a security in front of their house. They have all them kind of goodies, and they can even hire some other kind of security on their own. So you see, they're not too concerned about the people and the way that the people have to be living on edge. Just recently, a criminal escaped. 3-time murderer, that as they put it, alleged murderer. And if you see, the people live on edge because they don't know what's happening. But yet still, the Attorney General is saying that the crime went down 75%. I don't know where he's looking. And I don't know what kind of pie that he saw. But that pie turns backward. It's not turned right. He's not seeing it from the right direction. Because nowhere in the world you're telling me that the crime... We are living in Antigua, and we know when escalate and decrease, and we haven't seen any reduction anywhere along the line there. It's been going up all the while, and it's getting more and more horrible, the type of crimes that's going down. So what is he looking at? I don't really know. But you see, these guys insist that they can fool the people. We have one or two guys that will come out, they consciously know what's going on, but they know that it's the numbers that count. And they can drown out these few guys that will come in and trying to tell the truth about anything. So they insist that, hey, we're going to throw this at the people, and we know the people. And this is what the Prime Minister at this particular time are playing the people, because he feels that he knows the people well. They have done it time and time again, and they will do it again and again. And this is what he's betting at. He's betting against you, ladies and gentlemen, that you will ever do the right thing to get out of this bondage that you're in. You're in a serious bondage. You're in a situation where you can hardly provide for yourself. You can hardly have a decent living.
Yeah.
But yet still the Prime Minister will just go around and feel that he can just keep this sort of thing on you, this way of life on you, and you will accept it. And you're better than that, ladies and gentlemen. We grow up and we all strive for excellence and perfection.
And I know you were in there striving for some of that too. At what point did you break off and become a kind of a lackadaisical, low-lifted kind of people? This is what the Prime Minister is saying. And I'm saying no. Not these people. I know the people. These are people that will go out there and they want infinities and all them kind of good cars and so. You telling me that low-lifted people live like that? No, a low-lifted person will want a Vauxhall anyhow he look and all that and anyhow he get it. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, don't let this man play you for a fool. Don't let none of these politicians play you a fool. We have 4 candidates that's potentially running in the rural South. And I would like you to take a look at the 4 candidates who are campaigning out there and tell me, personally tell me, who you think is the best person to represent you. But we're going to get into that further down the line as I let my co-host say what he has to say.
Further down the line. But I want to remind the people of Antigua and Barbuda of what the Prime Minister himself promised you. There was supposed to be jobs, full employment by now after 3 years. Nobody in Antigua was supposed to be looking for a job or can't get a job or ask somebody and fill out a resume to get a job. Everybody was supposed to be employed. But instead of jobs, they're giving you ham and turkey. And that is where we have the problem, because that was a promise. A promise made and a lie followed. Listen to this one. This is Gaston Brown.
We will make sure that within our first 18 months of taking over the governance of this country, that we reduce unemployment by at least 50%. And I say to you tonight that within 3 years of our first term in office, we will put every single able-bodied in this country to work. It will be full employment with labor.
Full employment, not part employment or a substantial growth in employing the labor force in Antigua. There were supposed to be so many projects coming into Antigua and Barbuda that the labor force in Antigua could be picking and choosing what jobs they wanted. You understand that well?
Yes, the man said not one able body would be out of work. Those are his exact words there. And at this point, he think he can substitute that promise with ham and turkey. Please, fear, this is what is so, this is burning me. Ham and turkey is a meal. A 1 meal, 2 meal, that's his best. So you telling me that you can substitute a promise that you say, hey, I'm going to put you to work, that you can have a better life, you can have a decent living, you can go out there and earn for yourself, and you're going to bring a meal to me and say, hey, this is it, and I can go and have an election and this, and manfully say that I'm going to win because you are going to be low-lifted enough to feel that that ham and turkey can substitute that whole promise that he made. Look, the fulfillment of the promises that he made is just about nil. Just about, he talked about the homes, he talked about the Yida, he made all these promises. And ladies and gentlemen, you tell me which one came into being in a real, proper, and meaningful way. Not one of these promises he has made, ladies and gentlemen. And you're telling me that with 1 year and 4 months left for election, this man is not even trying to do something that will benefit your life. He's saying, let's go into another election and give me another 5 years. How would you rationalize that for me, please, ladies and gentlemen? Because I am fighting hard for that rationale. I go home at night, I'm just trying to put it all together, and it's not making any sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, if it does make any sense to you, we are on the radio, Variety Radio, every Saturday from 1 until 3. And you'll be able to call us and just tell us, if you think that there's some rationale behind it. We're on Facebook. You can also get in on our chat and stuff like that. Tell us, just let us know what you think, if there's some sort of rationale behind this. Because to me, it's none.
Yeah, well, he went to the people, the electors, and told them that this party had the knowledge and the know-how because the UPP couldn't provide work for them. So he, with his team, they did it before and they're going to do it again. And that is what I want to hold the people to hold him accountable for. If he did it before and he's going to do it again, then where are the jobs? Why are you on your mother or your father's couch waiting for work, handing out resume, looking on your phone to see if anybody called, any unknown number called you, which is probably an employer. This is what he told the directors at a public meeting. Listen to this one here.
I say to our contractors, to our tradesmen, to our laborers, to our architects, our engineers, our plumbers, our electricians, I say to all of them, start to dust off your tools.
Hey, well, let me pick up on something you had said. He said he did it before and he can do it again. Did what before? And the start, when we start our program here, you heard what he said. I admit that we are corrupt in the Labour Party. He did admit to that. So he could be that he said they did it before. Because it's certainly none of them job business and all them things, none of them things there. So maybe he's there admitting that, we are corrupt and we will do it again and all that. Because, this is not so. This man tell people to dust off the tool. He hyped the people up. You understand? He just let them think that all kind of great things was going to happen. And not a thing happened but disappointment. Look at how many people at home now, look, we out there campaigning there, and most of the people say, we want jobs. We want, and we're saying, look, if we're the party in power, we certainly would have been able to accommodate you at this time, but these guys are not really doing what they're supposed to do for you. They promised that they were going to do this. We promised things to people that we were planning to do, small industries and stuff like that. And there's where the job would have come from. You understand? People chose to shoot themselves in their foot, and they used their weapon because they used to say, how about a weapon? And then next thing you know, the person with the weapon fall dead. Because I don't even understand. They had the weapon, but they got shot.
They shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, they shot themselves. The Prime Minister is betting.
On the 12th of June 2014.
Yeah, but what's here?
The electorate that had their weapon went and shot themselves in the foot in rural South.
That's right.
And all these other constituencies.
Absolute.
So what do you have in return for electing this government? To voting in Eustace Tico Lake? It's one of the worst performing ministers in Antigua's history. Not just in the last 10 years, in the last 15 years. One of the worst politicians, one of the least effective representatives in Antigua and Barbuda's history. That is what we're dealing with. And the people need to be aware. They need to account for what has happened. And they need to get themselves out of that doldrums. Listen to what. I have another clip here I wanted to play for you. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? This is what he's saying, what he's going to do for you and what he can provide with the amount of jobs that he's going to provide. This is this one here. This is about 3,000 jobs we're going to be provided.
What do you think?
We recognize too that we will not have the excuse of saying that, the UPP wrecked the country, and we do not wish to use any excuses in government. We want to make sure that by the time we take over the governance of this country, that we would have had a number of investments lined up. We also want to make sure that we have policies and programs to stimulate the country's economy, because ultimately, we expect to create at least 3,000 jobs within our first year. We've spoken about the 500 homes in 500 days. That alone will create about 2,500 jobs.
25? What is this here? Hey, this is so sick, man. This is crazy. You understand? But the bad part about it, that the Prime Minister is betting on that again, betting that the people are going to do the same nonsense, and he's going to be able to come and tell them a bunch of things. I understand that there was something last night, and the Prince of Dubai was even around, and I've been hearing all sorts of crazy stuff. Them kind of showboat business are supposed to be thing of the past. Antigua people, whether you're born here or not, as long as you're known to be an Antiguan by birth or by registration, you are supposed to be thinking a kind of how, because you're here to better your life as well, the people who are not really from here. So, when the Prime Minister starts to play people, and he's not playing us now, then he's playing all of you, because then he only need the foreigners for a little while. He needs them to get there. After that, he doesn't know them again. They're going to hear all I had this morning was a mango and all these sort of nonsense. And if it's money you want, I don't have none. And, you know, they've been telling people these things in the early part. Now it's getting close to the election. You know, they're probably on their knees because they want to go back in there to finish the ignorance that they've been doing or to whatever cover. I don't even know what it is. But all I know is that they're playing the people for a fool, and they're betting that Antigua people are foolish enough to do the same thing
Over and over.
again.
Over and over again.
Yep.
That is the sad reality.
Extremely sad.
We're going to the clips. We're going to go on now to the land for youth, the housing crisis, the whole 500 housing, 500 days. We just wanted to listen to some of these clips. This one is a housing crisis. This is what's happening in Antigua and what they're going to do to solve the situation.
My dear comrades, there is a housing crisis in this country. You go to St. John City West in Poynton Villa, and you will see dozens, scores of dilapidated properties. You go to Grace Farm in Rural West, and you will see scores of dilapidated properties. I said to you tonight that Labour will do something about it. We will ensure that it's a housing revolution in this country to provide you with better homes. I said to you tonight that we will build 500 homes in 500 days. Let's hear it again for Labour. And you know what? They say that we can't build 500 homes in 500 days.
They say. Well, he saw that. Now he see it that it can't happen. Now he realized that it can't happen. He said we had no vision when we said that it couldn't happen. And now probably he realized that we're the ones with the vision that realized it could happen and he didn't have none where. It's so sickening, you understand, to see how this man just go about. And he's talking about dilapidated homes. And they don't even have a policy where the people could have gone in. I don't even know the purpose of Antigua and Barbuda Development Bank. Because if it's develop Antigua and Barbuda, I figure you would have a program where people can easily go and do something with the property they have to uplift the value and stuff like that in order to continue and elevate themselves. But they don't have a policy there. So these dilapidated homes that he's talking about still exist. They're there because they're what? Okay, you recognize it. What did you do to change anything there?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. So they're still there. Land for youth, and he promised this, and there's a land crisis, and all them things.
Yeah.
Anybody benefit?
Land for youth.
What is
what he also said.
We will empower our people, particularly our young people, by making land available for housing at $2.50 per square foot.
Yeah.
$2
Never came off.
a square foot.
Not one of those young people in St. John's Rural South or in the entire Antigua and Barbuda has gotten any reduction on the price of land from $5 a square foot to $2.50 a square foot. None of them got any land whatsoever. That is the reality, Nedwell.
There was no intention.
Let me play another one. With him. The same land for youth nonsense he's talking.
Team Labour has a very exciting land for youth program. And I said to you, the youths who are here, those of you who are landless, we will make sure that we create the opportunity for you to own a piece of the rock. We will make sure that we provide each working youth in this country with a parcel of land between 6,000 and 8,000 square feet. And we will subsidize the value of the land. We will make sure that a parcel of land would not cost you more than $15,000 for 6,000 square feet or $20,000 for 8,000 square feet. That is what you call empowerment. Plus, we will provide you with automatic loans through the Antigua and Barbuda Development Bank.
Oh, man.
Automatic low-interest loans. So I said to you tonight that every single working youth would be able to afford the payments for a parcel of land on our Land for Youth program. The equity requirement will be 5% less than $1,000. And your repayment will be in the region of $150. And I put it to you tonight that every single working youth in this country will be able to afford a pass of land on the labor. Not the $50,000 that they're charging you today. Let's hear it for the Labour Party, man.
Whoa. God. Huh, where did the bottom drop out in that thing?
Yeah, what are you voting for?
Nothing.
This is what was promised to the young people.
Yeah, and
They want a
nothing
piece of
happened.
the rock.
But
What do you have to show?
Yeah.
3.75 years later.
Yeah,
What do you have
that's
to
what
show?
I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, with a year and 4 months on their belt, that didn't happen. And you rushing into election still didn't happen. What's going to happen after the election? You're forgotten. Totally forgotten. You're on the back burner and you're going to stay on that back burner. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is so senseless and it's so presumptuous. Because you're presuming that Antigua people is gullible enough to just go down that road and say, it didn't happen the last time, but it will happen. Or it didn't happen the last 4 times, but it's going to happen this time. It's like a gamble. It's like you went to the casino. Oh, well, I didn't hit the jackpot this time around, but the money is going to fall. Hey.
I feel real lucky this time around.
Yeah.
Play another clip.
Mr. Speaker, my government has a policy of selling land at a developmental price of $3 per square foot. The price is set at $3 per square foot specifically to incentivize investments. And we have sold land at that rate to several developers, include the Adams project on Fry's Hill. In fact, that project was initiated by a member on the other side of the aisle, the Honorable Member for All Saints East and St. Luke. And my government, in order to incentivize investment, sold them 10 acres of land at $3 per square foot. There are other private Antiguans and Barbudans who have been sold land at a similar price, including a commitment to sell Mr. Belgrove Gregory at 5 Islands, 5 acres at $3 per square foot for a tourism development. I believe there's a pastor who's doing a project round south. We've sold him land as well at $3 per square foot. And we're inviting other Antiguans and Barbudans to capitalize on this policy of the government to sell crown land at a reduced price in order to stimulate investments in the country.
No. He's selling that at $3 per square foot. To who? The young people?
You see? This is what I'm talking about. The young people get no opportunity to buy that land. He's talking about Mr. Belgrove and this place out of over there by the woods area over there and all that. Where this whole thing is not making much sense. These are just promises that these guys make on top of from off the top of their head. And they're not doing nothing to better the people living and all that. It's a bunch of promises that's going nowhere. And the man intends to do the same thing again this time around. It's an awful situation where how many people benefit from land? You know how many people out there telling me they were glad to have a piece of land? We go out there campaigning, and since the last election, people saying, you know, well, how can we get piece of land? And we're telling them, boy, land is a scarce commodity around here. And this time around is not no different with the land situation. There are no land for people because they have no intentions of giving the people land for $3 a square foot and all that. You end up and you have to go to some private person to get a piece of land. They charge you whatever they want to charge you. But the promises that they had made that you are going to benefit the same way how these outside to induce investment and all these kind of crazy stuff. This is what they're telling the people. But astonishingly, these people come and they're going to come here, give them all these incentives and then cheaper rate to do this in the name of investment, and we still don't see any of that benefiting Antigua people. The most work that we get from this thing is half a dozen people get some kind of cars. You open some place down there that sell goods and sell, these are things of the past. We don't want that kind of little investment that you come and you're giving all these incentives. It is crazy the way how these guys go around just doing things in the name of the people. I hear Tico say, look, you elect me as the representative, which means that he is going to go and give you proper representation. And there are no representation at all from the people. Because one of the major representation would be, we promise that these youths that we are going to give them land, and they're going to be able to purchase the land, and it's going to be this amount for 6,000 square feet, and 8,000 is going to be another 20,000, and all that good stuff. You understand? And up to this present time, as a matter of fact, they're not speaking of it anymore. So I assume that it's been forgotten, and you're not going to get that privilege in order to get a piece of land somewhere down the road. Ladies and gentlemen, look, again, we're going to have to build, and you're going to have to build on your own. You're going to have to build to know, you know what you need in your life, and you build towards that. Whatever they come and pass out to you is not helping you to achieving your goal and getting you where you want to get to. I agree that for a night or two you're going to live a kind of how and feel good about something that they give you. But what? What happened now for the rest of the days for the next 5 years down the road? You know, you are still in the same position. And this is what you don't want to happen to you time and time and time again.
Yeah.
And I will assume that at this point in time you realize that you have been once bitten and you have to be shying this time, because look, you cannot afford the way how things are going right now and the extent of hardship that you're now facing. I don't think you can face another 5 years of this particular way of going down the road. So I will assume that this time round you have made up your mind that, look, hey, we're going to have an input in making our life a little better and not depending on the politicians, because the politicians are not doing nothing for us. We see that time and time again. We see that the last 4 or 5 elections. A lot of promises and nothing happened. And this is what's going to happen this time around if you depend on the promises. Depend on yourself to do the right thing coming election day with an objective down the road of what you and where you want to go.
Yeah.
And you have people who are going to be footing beside you to guide you down the road, because we as a party, we are building as well. We could have gotten a number of different people to come into our party and put them on a slate to run as candidates. We don't want to do that. We want to have people in there that we know that can serve the public well, that can represent the general public. This is not wash your foot and come situation for True Labour Party. I've noticed many of these other parties are doing something like that. We don't really care who you are. Just come. We're going to full a slate and all them kind of nonsense. Full what slate, my brother? You full a slate and not representing me well in Parliament. It's not really still not making no sense here. You have 14 candidates in there in Parliament and you still can't do nothing for me? And then you're telling me that you want 17. What you want 17 to do? If you can't do nothing for me, 13, 14, 17 is not, you're not going to make no difference because you just don't want to do nothing for me. You go in there, you have the overwhelming majority, the ayes have it, and you still cannot do nothing for me. It doesn't make any sense there. So I really don't even know where all these promises are coming. I don't even know what they intend. What I do know, they're playing the people for fools. Mm-hmm. And I do not agree with that. Yeah. And I hope Antigua people are insulted by the way that they are now coming with the same. And when I say Antigua people, I mean the people who are living here. You're from Jamaica, you're from Ghana, you live here.
Santo Domingo.
And all these people, you do live here. And as long as you live here, it's all one thing. You fall under the same.
You're an elector.
So please, you have to come and do the right thing to better your life. You left home to come to a country that you will have a better life. So you cannot contribute to the ignorance that's going on and believe that you're going to have a better life down the road. It's not at all like that. You have to play a part, all of us playing our part to do the right thing, and we'll end up at the right place and getting the right representation and whatever else we're supposed to be getting.
Listen here, I'm going to play another clip here now. They failed with all their policies on what they're supposed to do for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. So, like about 2 years ago, he starts to berate the unemployed people in society by telling them to go burn coal and raise pigs and to go raise chickens and all kind of disrespect. when you promise them full employment.
Yeah.
Listen to what he tell you now. From unemployment will be reduced in 18 months by 50%, and full employment within their first 3 years in office.
Everybody.
And this is what you have to tell you now.
Yeah.
And we expect every single Antiguan and Barbudan to earn his or her quick keep. Even if you have to burn coal, you must produce. You go bush, cut cassie, raise some pigs, raise some chickens, go fishing. Do something productive with your lives.
They voted for you and your government to do something for them so that they could be productive, Mr. Prime Minister.
Yeah.
You were supposed to provide work in abundance to these people. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely, the opportunity. They are supposed to provide and present the opportunity to the people in order for them to accomplish and whatever they want to accomplish in life. And there are no opportunities put in place for people. So then he sent you out as a hustle, because coal burning is a hustle. Some people just use that for that little extension of funds that they need, because what they are actually getting cannot really meet the mark and reach where they're going. So they go and burn some like coal and all that, and put that and that together, and then they're able to do something. But you are telling people now to make that be your own. That's the way how you are going to function. But go burn coal. That's how you're going to make your living. It cannot be like that, Veer. This is totally presumptuous and insultive and all that, Veer. It's not
This
good
is the
enough.
one now. If that was rude, listen to this one. We tell you what to do. If you're hungry, go pick some fruits.
Developers should also not only beautify their properties and the surroundings, but also to plant fruit trees as part of our Zero Hunger program. You want to make sure that if somebody is without food, they can probably pick a mango or guava at the side of the road instead of robbing and exposing themselves to danger or to jail time.
So, if you're hungry, go and pick a fruit at the side of the street.
Anyway, it's so crazy. But let me tell you something. In a civil society, what will really happen if a government notice that there are going to be some shortfall down the road with people having problems feeding themselves? What they will normally do is create an agency. In America, they call it a welfare agency. We call it whatever. But you will create an agency where you can assist people, where they can come and get a meal or something of that nature. You tell them, man, plant some fruit trees, and so that you can just do something with that hunger when it drops in on you, because we know you're going to be hungry. They know that. There are no opportunities out there where people can really continuously feed in themselves, and feel positive about doing that, because they realize that it's a bunch of hardship that's taking place in the island. And this man is just insulting people and telling you, eat some mangoes. That will help out with some of the hunger. Please, Veer. These are people that are supposed to represent you. As I said, it is not to create an agency and you within your budget. You say, look, we know that there are hardship coming down the road because your projection tells you this and tells you that. So what we're going to do, we're going to fund this agency that people can come and you have it run properly, and you can have a meal when necessary and stuff like that. Or you say, I'm not even going to the extent where you going to send them out a check every month, every week, because we may not have the means of doing that like the United States of America. But you can do something. You're the one where that normally will say, look, you have to do something in or out of government. And if your hand tied behind your back, use it like a pinky and do something. Do something that will help the situation.
That's the bottom line.
So you're telling me a mango where it's insultive.
Yeah.
And the people need to recognize this. Yeah, these clips that but it's a good thing you save these guys.
Yeah, everything about
they can't
them,
say that they didn't say it because you have it there. And look at
what Tico said for the people in St. John's Rural South. Listen to this one about land for youth. This is what they said on Thwaites Corner. This is actually on the 20th of February 2014. Listen to this one.
Youths of our nation need to be taken seriously, provided with opportunity, and given the God-given right of moving forward with their lives. The Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, with the stewardship of Tika Eustace Lake in the Otters community will get the job done. We'll provide you not only with work, we'll provide you with an opportunity to own a piece of the rock. The Land for Youth program is coming back. We will ensure that this time they're not able to touch it. We will legislate it in the Parliament of Antigua and Barbuda. So no government, anytime taking office in the future, will be able to take your money and not give you your land. Those days are over. It's a new time. It's a new era. This is a new Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party.
Sure is.
Sure is. What's old is new.
Stuff. You hear that, all that?
All of that was supposed to be provided for the people in St. John's Rural South.
Only for election. There.
Only for election.
Only
they call
for
that
election.
gimmicks.
Yeah.
1 second, let's say he gets the job done. This is what he says.
I've done the job. And they can't tell me I haven't done the job. And I continue to do what is necessary.
You hear that?
Yeah.
He's done the job. But listen to this one here.
We have done more than they think we have done. I don't go around and brag about the things I've done because that's not my job. My job is to get it done. And so I do get it done. And I can prove it every time.
He can prove it.
What the?
He can prove that he got them land for youth.
Yeah.
People in the youth in St. John's Rural South have
mind,
land.
in his mind.
And that they have jobs in abundance.
In his mind.
In his deluded, sick, pathetic mind.
Let me
That
tell you
man is
something.
one of the biggest wastes.
There, you're out there with me when you hear the people say, we don't see Tico. We haven't seen him since the last election.
Yeah.
You know how many people told us that there? You're right there. You hearing it. We haven't seen this guy. As a matter of fact, some people get so frustrated when we come. We have to say, no, we are not with that group, not that Labour Party there. Then is the time they decide to talk to us and let them in their yard.
Yeah.
You're there time and time again, and you see it. And then we say, when we really get down to the nitty-gritty and find out why they did that, it's because they're telling us, look, since last election, we don't see this guy, you know. We don't even know whether he exists or don't exist, because we don't see him.
Yeah.
And this is the guy that was boasting, and he can boast and this and manfully prove this and prove what? Prove what, Veer, that you're not going to show up into these people until 2 months before the election. And this is what you really prove, because this is what's happening.
Yeah.
You understand? So you know, them all these promises right now is getting so sickening. Of what's going on. And you know, again, it's not only the promises of these things. This election coming up, and they have all this grandstand jumping up and ban business and all that thing there. And I notice now that the people of a particular age are getting tired of that nonsense there. It's only the younger people now who actually gravitate into that. And it's expected, they love the liquor going on and the liquor jump up. But other than that, the people of a particular age there and the people of understanding are now understanding that it's not that. That isn't doing anything for them, because they're going to wake up this morning and meet the same problems that confront them the day before yesterday, before that little thing, their charade that they had there. So then I noticed that many of them haven't shown up. So it's like they're breaking off with that way of thinking there. I'm so pleased with if that's what's really going on. But I'm telling you, if the people do what they've been doing all this time, it's going to be to their detriment. And I do hope that they do, because, you know, they'll be pulling other people, other conscious people who are making conscious decisions in there too, because, you know, it's the numbers that count.
Yeah.
So please, ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you, just go out there and think about yourself, think about your children's future and your grandchildren's future. And you do the right thing. You just decide that you're going to vote to help yourself, and not vote that you can run up to some politician, and when he wants to see you. When he don't want to see you, just duke you out. Either go out the other door, tell them that he's not there, he's busy, or something of that nature.
Come back some other time.
That's what it is, you know, and he just push you off until another time, and then these are supposed to be things of the past. You ask for opportunities in order that you can better your life. We have seen this. We out there campaigning, and people say, look, I want one job. And I don't just want any job. We want one job that I know I'll be in work for another 5 years plus.
They want careers.
We want basically permanent jobs.
Handyman
that's
job,
right. None of them
job.
someday. Please, them look at things that they, And this is what the politicians over the years are doing for the people. Some little thing and it lasts for 4 months, then you're out of a job for 3 years and you get another 2 months something. Please, how will you feed yourself like that? That's an awful situation. So when we watch and see that they are coming back this time, and this time they make sure that they're doing it way before it's constitutionally due, to make sure that, look, okay, we have it nailed in now. We have another 5 years, so we can just now do what we want to do. 5 and 3 is 8, and 8 plus, and it's 8 years of non-performance, and it's all right. By that time, we will get what we want to get out of it. We will get it. You understand? These are the sort of mentality. And, the people, you need to be looking at it to ask yourself why. A man that have another 1 year and 4 months to call election, and he decide that he joined with that 1 year, 4 months, and we call in next, it has to be for a particular reason.
Yeah,
if you
definitely.
think you can give me a positive reason for it, please do.
Well, I'm going to say a few words and then I'll leave you with the outro. We have just roughly on the 5 minutes.
All right.
On election day, they will be on the ballot via Cornwall Bird in St. John's Road South and Shani Warner Samuel in St. Peter's constituency. We are very concerned of the future for this country. We are concerned because these two constituencies do not have representation. It's not even about proper representation. You do not get representation. We hear people in the past saying from these two loyal Garrison Labour Party constituency that even if the Labour Party put a dog on the ticket, they will vote for the dog. Now, that is foolishness, because you're telling me when you elect the dog and it goes into Parliament that the dog can only do 1 or 2 things: bark, growl, go sleep, and want to be fed. Right? I don't know how that is going to benefit you. But actually, where Tico and Winston Williams are concerned, I think the dog is a lot better representation. Because at least the dog can jump through a hoop. Eustace and Tico can't do a damn thing for the people in St. John's Road South. If you can go that far down the pole to go and represent these two individuals to the highest heights to represent you, I would say that you need to reconsider via Cornwall Bird, because I am trained in government and politics. I have a degree in government and politics from St. John's University. I am actually the only politician in ALP, UPP, DNA, or whatever else out there that is actually qualified for this job. In addition to that, I am a lawyer for the past 17 years. I am trained as a lawyer who can vet legislation and put forward meaningful debate on what laws are passed in the Parliament. So if you want somebody to represent you, Vere Bird III is the man for you on election day. But do not be swayed. I will be in that constituency, win, lose, or draw. We have promised the people in St. John's Road South that we are going to build a community center. That is the party, that is my family, my mother, and my 9 other siblings. We will get a community center in there to improve the quality of your lives. Because I believe St. John's Road South has the lowest standard of living of all constituencies, because you have no government buildings, government programs to uplift you. No medical clinic, no health center, no hurricane shelter, no community center, no sub-police station or fire station. If your house burned down, go over to the fire station, either out of Old Road or John Hughes or in town there in City South and have them come down to you. If you have a health problem, go down to the clinics in Grace Farm, or go up to St. Mary's North, or go to Mount St. John's in City South. If a hurricane comes, you go to the Adventist School or Otters Conferences in City South. What about something in St. John's Rural South? It doesn't exist.
Nothing.
So that is all I have to say.
Yeah.
Think about what I'm saying, and in the last 3.5 weeks of this campaign until election, I will make the attempt to come and speak to you about what we plan for this constituency. And it is a dire importance because you have nothing to brag about where party politics is concerned. You have not benefited under the ALP, and you have not benefited under the UPP. Just blind loyalty to support an organization that has not been loyal to you needs to stop. Nedwell, you got the closing.
Yes, yeah. I speak of representation all the time. Every time I get on the air, it's about representation, because that's very important in the lives of people of any country, any community. Now, we have 4 candidates, that's potential candidates, they are actually campaigning in rural South, and that's need to claim that they want to represent you in Parliament. We have yourself, we have BARBUDA, we have Erica Edwards, we have Kyron Simon, and we have Darrell Matthew. And ladies and gentlemen, when you look at the field of contestants and you just tell me, a man who is a lawyer, he represents people just about every day. He knows what representation is all about, and he knows what it takes to represent the person. A man who went to college, to university, in order to study the whole political spectrum. So, he knows how to legislate, he knows all this. What else could you be asking for? We normally say you go to the doctor, you want to make sure he's a doctor that's good enough to save your life. You go to the lawyer, you want to make sure he's good enough to secure your liberty. So then if you want somebody to represent you in the highest office, we are talking about in Parliament, I believe that you want somebody who is good enough to do that, not somebody, some mediocre person that will just come to make up the numbers and stuff like that. And we see that's what's happening. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, representation is my theme. When I talk, representation. This is what it's all about. From there representing you, you will get the opportunities, you will get all that good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure on election day you do that thing and search your conscience and look at it. Put them together and decide who you think can represent you best, and do the right thing. Vote your conscience. Where it's about that time, I think we're about to tell the general public that. Yes, and so, ladies and gentlemen,
political climate in Antigua and Barbuda.
That's right.
So, yeah, not a problem.
Yes,
we will be on the campaign trail from here on out, and we will be seeing the people in this constituency, this beloved St. John's Rural South. And all we are saying is that you could do better. You could do better than ALP and UPP.
Absolutely.
We are going to provide a community center where you won't be asking a party or a candidate for help. We'll have a community center where you can come and organize and help yourself.
Absolutely.
It's all about self-help right now. You understand?
Yes.
You have to be self-reliant. And that is the only way.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before any further ado, take good care. And all the best on election day. Bye for now.
Bye.
A buzzard took a monkey for a ride in the air. The monkey thought that everything was on the square. The buzzard tried to throw the monkey off of his back, but the monkey grabbed his neck and said, "Now listen, Jack, straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Ain't no use in diving. What's the use of diving? Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." The buzzard told the monkey, "You are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free." The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, "Your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Bree, bree, doo, bree, bree, doo, da 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 da. The buzzer told the monkey, you are choking me, release your hold and I will set you free. The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, your story's so touching it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top.